Put on down, leave you where you stood. You believed I could, you've seen it done before. I could read your thoughts, tell you what you saw, and never say a word. Now all that is gone, over with and done, never to return. And I can tell you why people die alone. And I can tell you I'm a shadow on the sun. And I can tell you why people die alone. Staring at the laws, looking for a cause, never really sure. Nothing but a hole, live without a soul, and nothing to be learned. And I can tell you why people go insane. And I can show you how you could do the same. And I can tell you why the end will never come. And I can tell you I'm a shadow on the sun. And I can tell you why people go insane. Anyway, welcome to another episode of The Apocalypse. Congratulations on choosing the apocalypse, by the way. Not a very wise choice, but a choice nonetheless. And since you have unwisely chosen the apocalypse, you are in urgent need of a guide. Unfortunately for me, I am that guide, your humble and very tired guide. Nicholas, so good to see you again. Now let me just find the beginning here. Donnie said the next step between India and Pakistan was the N-word. Uh-oh. We'll get to that, though. Oh, here's the beginning. How could I forget? Donnie talking shit on Taylor Swift. That's really going to help you guys with your, I don't know, anti-DEI, anti-LGBTQ, racism, all the other fun things you got in your bag of sociopathy. Him talking shit on Taylor Swift, right? Him making an enemy of Taylor Swift. That's really going to put money in your paycheck. It's going to get you maybe some of your taxes back. Maybe you'll see more at the end of the week. Maybe it'll help your son get to college. No, it's a complete waste of fucking time. And it's WWE theater for fucking idiots. And it's embarrassing. In front of the whole fucking world, we have a dementia-ridden, orange-faced asshole in a diaper talking shit on Taylor fucking Swift. That's what the president, in fucking quotes, because you idiots wouldn't know a motherfucking president if you saw one, son. And I'm talking to the people that fucking have their name on this. This is how I know you wouldn't know a fucking classy individual or a president if they slapped you in your fat fucking face. Again, those people that have their name on this. Let's read Donnie's brilliant comment. This is what the president of the fucking United States is doing, thanks to you fucking people that voted for him. I think this is yesterday. I'm going to give you yesterday and today. I got it all condensed in here. Has anyone noticed that since I said I hate Taylor Swift, that's in all caps, like a true fucking idiot sociopath, 3 fucking year old? She's no longer hot. That's in quotes. Why is hot in quotes? Oh, because Donnie's a fucking moron mobster who doesn't know how to write proper fucking English. Or what quotes mean? You know, if I perhaps said Donnie was a smart guy, that's what you use quotes for. That means the opposite, Rubes, that he's not actually smart. That means I'm being sarcastic. Now, I don't understand why he would quote hot there as if he's being sarcastic. He's not. He's straight up making a statement that Taylor Swift is not hot anymore. My God. Again, and it's because Donnie said so. It's ever since he said it. Do you realize how sick this fuck is yet? Because he said it, Taylor Swift, who sells out fucking multiple stadiums at a time, isn't hot anymore. Again, this is what the cretin you people identify with since you gave him your vote, your endorsement. This is how he's spending his fucking time. And he's not you, Rubes, in the trailer park or wherever the fuck you live, talking shit on people. This is the president. And I know you don't get it, that there's supposed to be a certain decorum with people in this position. I know you don't understand. You know, you think this is a wrestling match or something, or a football game, or whatever the fuck. Cost you your country via stupidity, man. So yes, the president of the United States, 10:05 a.m., that's May 16th. That's what the president of the United States was doing, talking shit on Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift, who has more money than him, and she didn't have to grift it, son. She didn't have to get the presidency and steal from the treasury, get $400 million bribes from, you know, from Middle Eastern countries. She didn't have to do none of that. Isn't that interesting? James Comey. This is so stupid. I wasn't going to talk about it, but since the right wing made it a thing, we'll talk about it. So let's show the hypocrisy. I guess this is example infinity of hypocrisy from right-wing fucking worthless ass hacks that are being paid by Russia, probably. So James Comey was walking on the beach, and I guess he arranged some shells, or someone had, that said 8647. Okay, you Rube smeared shit on the Capitol walls to make Donnie a dictator, but we're going to talk about 8647, right? Really? We're going to try and throw Mr. Comey in prison for that. Meanwhile, a convicted felon is the one talking shit that he should go to prison. No, the convicted felon should go to fucking prison, actually. Instead, you voted for him, and now your country's over, and he's never leaving until he croaks. Well done. You'll see how wonderful it is, too, in the coming years, and there won't be that many years left. I promise. So James Comey takes a picture and puts it on social media. Probably poor judgment of a man of Comey's stature, head of the FBI. You know, he's a classy dude. I used to have respect for him at one time in history. I really don't have much anymore. But probably not the wisest idea since he's who he is. And it was a little kind of immature for him, in my opinion. But I'm sure he's pissed. A lot of us are watching what's going on. So Comey takes a picture of the 8647 arranged in shells on the beach and posts it on social media. Probably not the smartest move for him. He ain't like the rest of us out here, the rest of us jerk-offs. He was head of the FBI, like I said. A momentary lapse in judgment, I would say. But it's still not illegal, and it's not worth putting anyone in prison for, as we'll see. We're going to have to put a lot of people in prison if we're going to put Comey in for the 8647 thing. Okay, you ready? This is Jack Posobiec, a completely worthless right-wing fucking hack. All you will get is lies and disingenuousness from this thing. He goes by Jack Poso on Twitter. He's very famous. So this is from 2022. And Jack Poso, after he wrote this, the former director of the FBI is calling for left-wing assassins to target our president and kill him. Have no idea why he hasn't been arrested yet. I mean, that's such a genuine comment, right, Rubes? You know who that reminds me of? A certain rock star's wife, how they write. When they're trying to be insincere and disingenuous on the internet and play the victim, that's exactly what you'll read right there. That tone, that sentiment, as if Jack's a good boy. He's not a good boy. He's a worthless right-wing fucking hack. And I mean fucking worthless. Son. Look at Jack Poso. The jerk off. 2022. What 8646. But wait a minute, Jack the jerk off. You just wrote this today. The former director of the FBI is calling for left-wing assassins to target our president and kill him. So I guess Jack Poso, the abject fucking hypocrite destined for the lake, I guess he's got to go to prison too, because he was inciting violence against Joe Biden. He was trying to get a bunch of, I'll use your phrasing, the phrasing the Rubes like. You ready? He was trying to get a bunch of right-wing lunatics to kill our president, Joe Biden, in 2022. He needs to be locked up by Jack's standards. This disingenuous bullshit is exactly why you go into the lake, because you put that judgment out on other people for the same thing you did. And you know it. And it's cost us our country and everything. It's going to cost us the world this time. This is why motherfuckers go into the lake, committing the same crime or doing the same act, and then trying to get someone else locked up for it. So by Donnie's logic, by all the right-wing hacks' logic, by Jack Poso's logic, he should go to prison for inciting violence against Joe Biden when he was president back in 2022. When Jack Poso, the abject fucking disingenuous hypocrite, waste of oxygen, decided to write 8646. Hey, I'll defend your right to write 8646, your free speech right to do that, Jack the jerk off. What I won't defend is then you turning around and saying Comey can go to prison while you keep your right-wing Russian-funded podcast, whatever the fuck you got going. That's what I can't defend. The hypocrisy, son. And you've all got it. The whole GOP machine. That's all you people run on. There's nothing genuine whatsoever. There never was. I noticed that when I was a child. No one had to fucking tell me. You people reek disingenuousness a mile away. You don't care about anything but your fucking portfolio and how much power you can get. That's 99% of the GOP. 99. Are there some bad Democrats? Fuck yeah, but you know what the Democrats weren't doing, son? Trying to overthrow the government, smearing shit on the walls, and taking money from Vlad Putin. 80% of the GOP's taking that money, son. Might be higher than that. And you know it. Traitors, them, you. And our country's over because of you and them. Jack Poso, he's another reason our country's over. I hope the disingenuousness, I hope the nice home, the nice car, the wife that's out of your league, or guy that's out of your league, whatever you're into, I hope it was worth it, worth the lies, worth betraying America. Is this cunt even American? I don't even know, nor do I fucking care. I'll just assume he is, though. Another part of the GOP, heavily funded probably by Russia or the RNC, disingenuous campaign full of lies. That's all this Jack Poso, the jerk off, is. So, you know, there's a lot of you that made all kind of threats over the years, all right-wing podcasters, right-wing politicians, much worse than this 86 thing that Comey did, and you fucking know it. And you're not in prison. But you want Comey to go to prison for the same thing that Poso did. Poso's saying Comey should go to prison. So I guess Jack got to go with him, huh? Now, he got an R next to his name. He don't need to go. The people with the R's next to their name, they're the reason we're in the apocalypse right now. Pat yourself on the back. I know you all thought you were going to vote for evil again, betray your country again, and just go on about your fat lives. I know. Not this time, son. The bill is due for everybody. The good, the bad, and the motherfucking ugly. Bill is due, son. The man coming round this time. So I hope you don't have them lies on your lips when he does, because he's making a list and checking it fucking twice. Trump on Comey. Let's get Donnie, the convicted felon, the person that literally is a terrorist, tried to overthrow our government, sat back and watched it on TV as he was president eating fucking hot wings, had Sean Hannity, fucking all kind of Fox News hosts, texting Mark Meadows and anybody that was around, get him to stop this. He's going to ruin our whole fucking grift for the next 50 years. Get him to stop this. Hannity said that, son. Trump on Comey. He knew exactly what that meant. It meant assassination. It says it loud and clear. He's calling for the assassination of the president is going to be up to Pam. He's a dirty cop. So Miss Bondi's going to decide, right? Miss Bondi, who just insider traded the other fucking day to the tune of millions. Fake ass Miss Bondi who lets Stephen Miller run things while she goes on Fox News every 3 seconds. That person. Wow, I feel so safe and secure with Miss Bondi. Donnie's saying it means assassination. What did the gallows mean for Mike Pence as Donnie sat and ate hot wings? Not so concerned about that, right? Nah, I didn't think so. So you got Donnie, who's a convicted felon, adjudicated rapist, adjudicated defamer, adjudicated fraud, stole 3,000 classified documents, tried to overthrow the government. He's the one that says Comey should go to jail for taking a picture of seashells that say 8647. And the guy that literally wrote 8646, Jack Poso, the jerk off, wants Comey to go to jail as well. So I guess Jack got to go too, right? Unbelievable. The convicted felon. Always remember, every proclamation, every opinion is being made by a convicted fucking felon. Here's Donnie, who wrote a thesis about Bruce Springsteen. Again, this is really improving your lives, right, people? This is what you like, though. This is why your country's over. You like theater. You don't like results. You don't like more money in your paycheck. You like hate and theater. That's why it's over, son. I'm sorry. I see that highly overrated Bruce Springsteen goes to a foreign country to speak badly about the President of the United States. Never liked him, never liked his music or his radical left politics. And importantly, he's not a talented guy. Donnie, the guy that can't do shit but grift and get fatter, is saying the boss, Bruce Springsteen, is not talented. There are people that worship Bruce Springsteen, and he didn't have to ask for it. You know what I'm saying? Oh my God, he's not Springsteen is not talented. Another guy, just like Taylor Swift, that's a different kind of music and a different level of talent, I'll be honest. But both can fill multiple stadiums on a whim, on the even remotest announcement they're about to do a concert. That shit will sell out in about 3.2 seconds. That's who Donnie is saying is not talented. I'll admit Taylor Swift is not on Springsteen's level of talent. That's a different thing. So he's not a talented guy, just a pushy, obnoxious jerk. Does Donnie talk about anybody but himself? Every critique of everyone else, it's literally what Donnie is. It's fascinating to watch. So Springsteen is a pushy, obnoxious jerk who fervently supported crooked Joe Biden. Says the guy who just took a $400 million plane from a Middle Eastern country that sponsors terrorism. That's who's talking here. And he says Joe is crooked. A mentally incompetent fool and our worst president who came close to destroying our country. Really? Because the Dow was at 45,000 when Crazy Joe left. Now it's at 42. Walmart prices going on. I could go on and on about how it's way worse now than under Joe Biden. And you know it. And you'll learn that lesson the hardest of hard ways as we go through this. It's going to get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and worse because of you who have your name on this. Incompetent fool, worst ever president who came close to destroying our country. If I wasn't elected, it would have been gone by now. Wait, why didn't it disappear while Joe was president if he was so bad? I don't understand. I don't understand. Sleepy Joe didn't have a clue as to what he was doing, but Springsteen is dumb as a rock, and that's in quotes. I don't know. And couldn't see what was going on. Or could he? Which is even worse. This dried out prune of a rock star, his skin is all atrophied. Cracker, does Donnie ever look in the mirror? He weighs about 400 pounds. He's fat as fucking hell. He's obese. He can barely walk. His skin looks like shit. He's got the most fucked up hairdo I've ever fucking seen in my life. He leaves the house in orange face and he shits himself. And he's talking about what Springsteen looks like and what condition his skin is in. I've seen what Springsteen looks like these days. And even though he's older, he's in phenomenal shape for his age. I'm even impressed. I'm like, damn, I've never seen a man that age in such good shape. Joe Biden was also in excellent physical shape for a man of his age. I'm sorry. You don't see men his age, slim like that. You don't usually see it. They usually look like Donnie. So this dried out prune of a rock star, his skin is all atrophied. What is atrophied fucking skin anyway? I thought atrophy was like for muscles and shit, but whatever. Ought to keep his mouth shut, that's in all caps, until he gets back into the country. That's just standard fare. That's in quotes. I don't know. Then we'll all see how it goes for him. I don't know. It sounds like some threatening language there. He's starting to ease into his Caesar role and just outright threaten people. We're so close. So close. Yeah, that's the president of the United States. Classy stuff, huh? I'm sure it'll really help you with your daily struggles, those rants against Taylor Swift while he's president and Bruce Springsteen. Yeah, they sell 8646 t-shirts on Amazon. Did you know that? So I guess Amazon got to go to jail. The person that makes the t-shirt, whoever, if it is Amazon, they got to go to jail. You know, throw Bezos in the slammer. He was inciting violence against Joe Biden, according to your standards, Rubes. The talking point standards you're being given today, by the way. And this is the actual beach post from Comey above the t-shirt there. So that's what he posted. That's why all of a sudden, according to the Reich and right-wing hacks like Jack Pisso, whatever he is, Comey should be in prison for this. Jack, though, even though he posted it in 2022 about Biden, no problem. Just let him keep lying on his podcast or wherever the fuck he's got going. So yes, they sell these t-shirts. They sell, patches that say it. 8646. None of you people cared about it then. You were all yelling it. Yeah, it's a great thing. Comey does it regarding Donnie, and you all want him in prison for the rest of his fucking life. That's how I know you don't believe in anything. And you never did. Here's Jack Poso again, but he got community noted on the same post. On January 29, 2022, Jack Posobiec posted 8646 archived. That's because Jack again said this. The former director of the FBI is calling for left-wing assassins to target our president and kill him. Have no idea why he hasn't been arrested yet. Well, why does it have to be left-wing assassins? The last two people that shot at Donnie, they were right-wingers, remember? They don't have to be left-wing. Here's Brett Baer again. This interview took place yesterday, I believe. Are you planning to call Putin, Trump? I may. We have to meet. He and I will meet. I think we'll solve it. Or maybe not, but at least we'll know. And if we don't, it'll be very interesting. Yeah. This is Scotch-Brite Donnie. They probably do use Scotch-Brite to get that clear delineation between the orange tanner and his regular skin color. It's usually an inch or two. So he's Scotch-Brite Donnie now. They're just using the tape and just doing it up. See the difference in color there? That's the person you voted for, son. He puts orange paint on his face before he leaves in the morning, and you identify with that, son. That's why your country's over. You saw a clown who paints his face every day. Orange. Like a fucking Oompa Loompa. And you thought that was cool. You identified with that. You identified with Scotch-Brite Donnie. That's why your country's gone. I personally would never take a guy in orange face seriously. Never. For that reason alone. Because there's something wrong with the motherfucker that paints his face orange, unless he's in a circus, and then leaves the house as if that's normal. Mentally wrong. Oh, they finally got around to Israel again. I was wondering when they were going to do the pretend friend act again. All he got was a call from Rubio, though. Donnie was meeting with all the sultans of Arabia. Having extensive, long meetings, 4 or 5 day trip, whatever it was. Didn't even stop over at Israel. Maybe he's going, I don't know, but looks like all Israel got so far is a phone call. State Secretary Rubio called Netanyahu to affirm the White House's ironclad support for Israel and opposition to Iranian nuclearization. Here's the thing about that. None of it says they're going to help them bomb Iran and help them clear out Gaza. Donnie's talking about making it a freedom zone on his own. He's not mentioning Netanyahu anymore. And Donnie took the planes away from Diego Garcia so he's not bombing Iran. Again, Donnie wants the Nobel Peace Prize really badly, to the point he'll throw Netanyahu under the bus for it. So don't worry, little Marco assured Israel, I know you saw us on the Arabian tour and Donnie took the jet and Donnie says he's not bombing Iran now and we sent the planes home. We know you saw all that, but don't worry, we got your back. Little Marco said that. Little Marco reassured the right wing in Israel that America is with you. Don't mind that tour of Arabia you saw, Donnie all happy and shit. Grift after grift. Don't worry. America has your back. I don't know. I'm starting to wonder. Donnie said it again. They happen to be white. He got asked about it again yesterday on the plane. It's the second time. Trump again claims there's a genocide against white people happening in South Africa. They just happen to be white. And here's a little bit more of what he said. If I see people in distress, I don't care what color, what they look like. Sure, Donnie. The farmers in South Africa are being treated brutally. They happen to be white. If they were black, I'd do the same exact thing. No, you wouldn't, Donnie. There's plenty of black countries that are having severe problems, and we could take in some people as refugees. You'll never do that. If they were black, I'd do the exact same thing. We treat people very well when we see there's a genocide going on. Just the way that's worded. Oh my God. There's plenty of genocides going on, and South Africa ain't one of them. But what I've noticed is all the people with darker skin are getting rounded up and deported. And the people with white skin from South Africa, they get an expedited taxpayer-funded flight. They get access to government benefits. All the things you said that other people were getting that they never were, by the way. That all lies. Now it's actually happening with white South Africans. Are you going to complain now? Nah, I know you won't. It has an R next to it. So yeah, I'm not buying that, Donnie's down with all colors, hands across the world, hands across America, because I'm watching before my eyes. That's what the Reich, can't really delete right now. I'm watching with my own eyes people of darker complexion get rounded the fuck up and thrown out the country and told to self-deport. And then I watch a group of white South Africans get top of the list, get expedited taxpayer-funded lives now. Down to the flight over here. You paid for it. All the things you complained that you thought other people were getting. Now these people are definitely getting it. It's confirmed. I know you won't complain. You'll just run with it. Oh, this is the Donnie Orange palette. If you're looking for a true orange or an off orange, this is the palette for you. My favorite is the one where his hair is swept back and the orange tan line is very delineated. It's the middle photo. The outside middle photo. I love that picture. It's my favorite Donnie picture. That one. So many different hues. You got like kind of brown orange, regular orange, light orange, deep orange. You can see the orange on my face. Jesus Christ. Where's Donnie got the true orange? I'll say it's this one down here. That's really the deep, true Donnie orange right there. I can't believe anyone takes this person seriously. The orange face alone would be disqualifying for me personally, were I voting. Let alone the hard policy and the fact that he's a pure grifting criminal from the time he was born. Whew. All right, this is a real signal or portent or verification or measuring stick for where we're at, okay? And it looks like this. This is from the New York Times, son. A reality show where immigrants compete for U.S. citizenship. DHS is considering it. And by DHS, that's the puppy killer, Miss Cosplay on your dime, who wants a new jet for $50 million, a new Gulfstream, and she wants you to pay for it. She submitted that in the budget. A spokeswoman for the Department of Homeland Security said the agency was happy to review out-of-the-box pitches. I'm going to read you a little bit of it, not much. The Department of Homeland Security is considering taking part in a TV show that would have immigrants go through a series of challenges to get American citizenship, officials said on Friday. What comes to mind first with this? With me, I thought Hunger Games. Don't worry, Hunger Games gets mentioned because they know that's the first thing everyone's going to think of. The challenges will be based on various American traditions and customs, said Tricia McLaughlin, a spokeswoman for the agency. She said the department was still reviewing the idea. Sorry, I lost my place for a second there. Which was pitched by a producer named Rob Warsoff. So if you want to know who thought this up initially or pitched it initially, a guy named Rob Warsoff thought it would be funny, cute, lucrative, whatever, to have basically a little, Hunger Games version of, do you want to live in this country? The pitch generally was a celebration of being an American. No, it isn't. It's a celebration of cruelty. That's all. But it's nice, when you cover it up with pretty language like that, when everybody really, it's a spectacle, it's cruelty, it's what you people are into, the ones who have their name on this. You think this idea is funny, don't you? You think it would be entertaining, right? That's why you're destined for the lake. Those exact type of thoughts. I hate to break it to you. I'm sorry. Still got a little time to not be destined for the lake, though. That's up to you. I don't see many willing to change, though. Most humans never change, let's be honest. Some do, though. It is possible. The pitch generally was a celebration of being an American and what a privilege it is to be able to be a citizen of the United States of America. Ms. McLaughlin said it's important to revive civic duty. Yeah, I'm not buying any of that. It's a spectacle. It's a spectacle for people that like, Duck Dynasty and shit. It's disgusting. Even the thought of it. And I know it's a big joke to the Reich, and it's a big joke to a lot of you people out there, isn't it? All I can say is laugh now, because you won't be laughing later. When the man comes around, you won't be laughing. So not only were the Reich is rounding people up, shipping them to death camps in El Salvador that they never leave. Now they're coming up with ideas of how do we make some money off this whole hatred of immigrants things, hatred of brown-skinned immigrants. Let's be honest. Let's make some money on this. The TV industry, Rob Worsoff. Yeah, he's going to be worse off. Rob would have been better off not pitching this idea. And by better off, I mean you wouldn't end up in the lake, Rob. That's what I mean. Lake of Fire. Read about it. Revelation. I'm going to talk a little bit about Revelation at the end of this presentation. I'm sure you'll love it, I'm sure. That's what I'm talking about, Rob. And this right here is the best. I got to read this part again. The pitch generally was a celebration of being an American and what a privilege it is to be able to be a citizen of the United States. I don't feel like it's a privilege anymore. I see this is going full authoritarian, and it's obvious. When Hunger Games ideas like this are coming up, it's over, man. We're already over. That this idea is even a thing, that's the downfall of a nation. She said the agency was happy to review out-of-the-box pitches, particularly those that celebrate what it means to be American. Really making fun of people that want to come live here, making a spectacle of them. What are we going to do? Have them fight each other? Do we want to go full Hunger Games where they kill each other? How would you like to do this? Sociopaths. I'm sorry, you cunts wouldn't know what it means to be an American. You wouldn't even know. Miss McLaughlin has no idea. Miss McLaughlin is just someone willing to work for evil for money, to have a nice job, a nice house, a nice car, like so many of you are willing. Hey, don't feel bad. I worked for the Antichrist years ago at one of his casinos. I didn't know he was the Antichrist at the time. And I never met the man. But I worked in one of his casinos for a while. That's why it was so surprising in 2015 when I started getting the itch. And I started seeing a cult form around Donnie Shitbags. That was very strange to me. Because no one had ever taken him seriously before. It was almost supernatural. So don't feel bad, you people that work for him now. You're destined for the lake. I mean, you got that part to look forward to. But I worked for him too. I just didn't know it. You do know it. You do know you're working for evil. I didn't. I was just a young guy who needed a job. He hadn't gotten anywhere near the presidency yet. This was years ago, son. Years ago. Decades. If Donnie offered me a job right now in the administration for $80 million a year, I'd tell him to go fuck himself. That's what kind of evil I'm talking about, son. The kind of evil where you best not be a part of it. Or it's your ass. On the banks of the lake. They all know what they're doing. They all know what they work for. They all know what the agenda is. And the agenda is 1933 and 1939. Germany. That's the agenda. The Bukele version, where you arrest the top judges, arrest political opposition, replace the other mob with your mob, where you steal all the money, and, pay gangs not to kill people for a while. You turn your country, you turn your currency into crypto. You put people in death camps where they never leave. Laugh about it. That's where we go. And, son, we already there. We paying for that death camp down there, son. But we're going to go further here with that. And with the crypto and all that. It's the Bukele version of Nazism. The modern version. Speaking of the judges, Supreme Court. Supreme Court extends freeze on use of Alien Enemies Act for deportation. So now the Supreme Court is saying you can't use this. And if you do, you got to give them, time to make a case. Donnie really doesn't like this decision. This isn't what he was looking for from his Supreme Court. But they getting scared. They're starting to see the Frankenstein monster they helped create. So they're starting to rule the other way now. Because they worried they about to get locked the fuck up. Which they probably will, just like Bukele did in his country. Right-wing Republicans who want deeper cuts block domestic policy bill. So Donnie had his big budget where it's got tax cuts for the rich, huge cuts to social programs that you people need. Just horrible thing after horrible thing. And the main concern with the Republicans that objected to it, because that's the only reason it didn't pass. Some Republicans didn't want it to, so they joined with the Democrats, voted against it. Again, and this is in reconciliation. It's in committee, I believe. And the bill did not pass. It didn't get out of committee. Donnie was probably really pissed about that too. Again, it's the Antichrist, I hate everybody except the rich bill. That's basically what it is. Further liquidation of more money, that was allocated or will be allocated for social programs. You understand the government's being liquidated, 200 years worth of investment, buildings, everything, liquidated. Social programs, liquidated. Departments, liquidated. Information, recorded and stolen. For all time, son. Forget about it. The main objection the Republicans had, well, it's adding $5 trillion to the deficit. We can't have that. So we got to cut more. I didn't hear a lot of Republicans saying, well, I don't want these cuts to Medicaid because I know I represent some rural-ass rube area where everyone's on fucking Medicaid because there's no jobs. So if I pass this, I'm fucking my own constituents in my rural-ass, counties I represent. None of them said that, son. None of them. They said it doesn't cut enough and it adds too much to the deficit. That was their excuse. Not, I care about my constituents. I don't want them to go without Medicaid and SNAP and these other things. They need it. Nope. So that's the only reason the bill didn't pass, because it adds too much to the deficit and stuff like that. Not for any noble reasons. The Trump administration is working on a plan to permanently resettle 1 million Palestinians from Gaza to Libya. So that is going forward. The Gazans will be removed either by Donnie or Bibi or a combination of both. It looks like Donnie's taking the reins on this and Bibi won't even be very involved. They'll build the resort. The thing is, Bibi might want to invade. Donnie wants the Nobel Peace Prize. That fucks up his groove. So they're going to butt heads over this. Donnie just wants to do it peacefully so he can get the prize. Netanyahu doesn't give a fuck. He wants to maintain his dominance in the agenda there. The Iranian agenda, the Gazan agenda. But Donnie's kind of taken over. You know why? Because he's the Antichrist. And you can't put that beast on a leash. I've said it a million times. Be you Vlad Putin, Leon Scum, Bibi Netanyahu. Everyone thinks they got a leash on the beast. No one does. He will turn on everyone. Just like he always has. So now you know where the Gaza agenda is. It's still a thing. It's going to go forward. It will happen. I've been saying this for a while. This isn't just talk. This is different this time. I got to go back to this other thing because I meant to say something that I didn't say. Back to this Let's have a show about immigrants competing for citizenship. Let's make a mockery of them, the process, our country, and become something evil or more evil than we were. There's like two different kinds of humans on this planet. Most of us probably have seen The Hunger Games with Jennifer Lawrence. I believe that's her name. Most of us, when we saw that movie, probably felt sorry for the peasants that were being persecuted and probably identified more with them. But then there are the Kristi Noems, the Rob, what the fuck's his name again? Rob Worsoffs of the world, who saw the oligarchy in the Hunger Games, and they identify with them. Some other names, Donnie, Thale, Scum, etc. Some of you humans on this planet, this dying planet that will soon be over, watched the Hunger Games and identified with the oligarchy that was having people kill each other for fun, for sport, made a TV show out of it, thought it was funny, cute, all the plastic people that thought they looked beautiful when they all look like abject plastic shit. Doesn't it remind you of a certain class of people? Look at some of the pictures at the crowds that gather at Mar-a-Lago. Those plastic people are the exact ones I mean. Same as the plastic people in the Hunger Games, all thinking they look so good because they spent $3 million on various surgeries. And they look like total fucking shit. One more time, my point is, some of you humans watch the Hunger Games and you identify with the bad guys. That's not going to go well for you when the man comes around, that you identify with that. U.S. credit receives downgrade from Moody's as Trump pushes costly tax cuts. I keep seeing comments like, this has never happened before. This is the first time in modern history. That's called the Donnie shitbags effect. I don't know if you've noticed. Everything Donnie touches dies. That's why America has to die. That's why the planet has to die. Not in the way you're thinking, but it does. Because Donnie's running the planet, he's going to run it even more and more and more as time goes by. So our credit has literally gotten downgraded. You know why? They know a grifter's in charge, a deadbeat. That's why. That's simple. Deadbeat. Here's an amazing meme or picture, probably AI generated, I assume. You never know with Donnie. Donnie loves people that give him money in $400 million planes. Wonderful work there. Wonderful work. Here's Donnie with Bret Baier on Fox. I think this is from yesterday. We're going to build the Iron Dome. I was going to call it the Iron Dome because that's the name everyone has heard of for years. To me, it was old-fashioned, so we changed it recently to the Golden Dome, the beautiful Golden Dome, and we all know how much Donnie likes golden things. We don't need a Golden Dome missile defense. That's a grift. Whoever those contracts go to, they'll probably pocket most of the money. We've already got the most advanced missile defense on the planet, the most advanced missiles on the planet, etc., etc., etc. We spend damn near $1 trillion a year on military sun. Of course we've got the best stuff. We don't need a fucking Golden Dome. But Donnie likes golden showers, all kinds of shit. Anything golden, he likes. Here's Donnie bragging about how much money he made. What I've been trying to tell you. When Donnie makes these deals, when he thinks of federal money, when he thinks of the Treasury, that's his money, son. I've been telling you that for months and months. He thinks he's Caesar. He thinks the treasury is his. Why do you think he likes tariffs so much? Because the treasury is his. Why? Because Besson's in charge right now, so he's not going to say no. And who was that geeky motherfucker that was in charge before that raped millions and billions from the government and the Saudis? I can't remember his name. He wore glasses. He had black hair. He was the Secretary of Treasury last time, and he wouldn't have told Donnie no ever. So the Treasury was Donnie's last time, and it's really Donnie's this time. That's why Donnie likes tariffs to the point he'll let the economy tank $10 trillion. There's only one reason to do that, son, to take that kind of heat. You have access to the piggy bank, so you don't care what everyone else is losing. Here we go. Think of it, this trip, he's talking about the Middle East, the Arab tour he just did. Think of it, this trip, I made 12 times the money that we're talking about. I made that money in a few days. I've always been good with money. I make money. In 4 days, I made 12 times what we spent in Ukraine. I make money. I made 12 times the money. But then later on, or in a different interview, look at how much money I'm bringing into America, I'm making for America. No, he slipped here. He admitted how he thinks. This is a window again into his psyche. I made the money. I've always been good with money. I made 12 times the money we're talking about. I make money. In 4 days, I made 12 times what we spent. I made, he says. That's why, again, whenever he uses the word America or American people, or I made a deal for the American, that means he made a deal for him. That's his money. I keep telling you that. Another one. Is Putin now the obstacle to peace? Donnie says, look, I had a real rough session with Zelensky because I didn't like what he said and he was not making it easy. And I always said he doesn't have the cards, and he doesn't have the cards. He didn't ask him about Zelensky. He asked him about Putin. He goes right to trash talking Zelensky. Again, Donnie Krasnov, the Russian asset since 1987. Verified. Here's Donnie commenting on Gaza in the same interview. Gaza is a nasty place. It's been that way for years. I think it should become a freedom zone, and it will become a freedom zone. Don't worry. In the near future. Why do you think he keeps talking about it? This was an apocalyptic looking fucking dust storm yesterday. Another thing I'm noticing, I got to be honest with you people, I don't want to be the person pointing to every natural disaster that's going on and say, it's apocalypse. What I have noted, there are hailstorms everywhere. I don't know if that's normal. I'm talking about baseball-sized fucking hail, softball, golf ball, fucking across the world this is happening. In every damn country you can think of. Again, I'm not tracking every event, and I'm not doing statistics. But it just seems a little strange. And we had that fucking tsunami sandstorm that approached Saudi Arabia. I don't remember, a week or 2 months ago. Now I wake up and I start seeing pictures of the same thing coming at Chicago. And you probably can't see it that well, but what the fuck is going on here? Again, Chicago, I believe, all just grayed the fuck out by sand. And again, I don't know how often Chicago gets fucking sand tsunamis like, Saudi Arabia does, but damn, there were tornadoes, there was hail, there was sand tsunamis in this area of the country yesterday. Here's Manhattan, Illinois. I mean, so far above the houses, the rooftops. The same thing in Saudi Arabia. The thing looked like the fucking apocalypse. I don't know. It struck me. The damage that was done with these tornadoes in Kentucky and Illinois and different places, the hail, the fucking apocalyptic looking fucking sandstorm, and the hail across the world. That's the one thing I'm noticing. I looked up if there's more volcanoes active than usual. This statistical search I did said no. The volcano activity is normal. Again, I don't know what to believe. I'm just saying what the search results showed me. I don't know how to measure if the hailstorms have increased either. All I know is the people that follow these things keep putting vids up of hailstorms all around the world. Nasty ones. Here's Donnie again. The Supreme Court won't allow us to get criminals out of our country. Donnie Shitbags himself is a convicted felon, a criminal, if you will. Can we throw him the fuck out? Donnie said homegrowns are fair game. Remember standing next to Bukele? Yeah, the homegrowns are next, Mr. Bukele. Isn't that funny? So can't we throw Donnie the fuck out? He's a criminal, literally, by definition. That's not what the Reich wants to do, and that's not what Donnie wants to do, throw out criminals. And if you people were concerned with criminals, you would never have voted for this thing anyway, so you must not be that concerned either. So the Supreme Court shot down his Alien Enemies Act thing that he was using to deport Venezuelans and other people as if it were a war, an invasion. That's what they tried to use as an argument in court, but that Alien Enemies Act is for real invasions, like wartime type shit, not illegal migrants coming over. And again, if you cared, if Donnie cared, he wouldn't have gave an exemption to his illegals that work in all of his hotels. So you don't care and Donnie don't care, let's be honest. Donnie just wants to demonize the courts and scare them. That they won't let let us get rid of criminals. Well, you voted for a criminal. You must love criminals. This is my favorite right here. This was, oh my God. You got Donnie and Brett, two older white gentlemen. Brett's younger than Donnie. Of course, I believe Brett's in his 50s. They got on the subject of Pakistan and India. Pakistan and India were going tit for tat. This is Donnie talking. To the point where the next one was going to be the N-word. And before he said it, he's like, they were shooting missiles back and forth. It was escalating further and further. And then he said, tit for tat, to the point where the next one was going to be the N-word. And then Donnie said, they both smiled, because we know what the real N-word is, especially two older white gentlemen. One of them racist as fuck. One of them the Antichrist. One of them a Nazi. I don't think Brett's those things, but you never know. And so Donnie looks at Brett, and they're both smiling. And Donnie says, you know what the N-word means, right? And Brett's like, nuclear. Yeah, it's the N-word, Donnie says. The N-word. A little racial innuendo there as well. You know how I know that? You know why I say that? Because two old white guys, when Donnie said it was going to the N-word next, they both smiled and almost laughed. I couldn't believe it. Oh my God. So yeah, the N-word was about to happen in India and Pakistan, according to Donnie. It was about to go to the N-word. Again, Donnie had nothing to do with the truce. Both countries denied his participation in the truce. Because Donnie's an abject fucking liar in pursuit of the Nobel Peace Prize. The N-word, he said, for nuclear war between two countries. The United Arab Emirates gave Donnie this fucking necklace. The Order of Zayed is encrusted with diamonds, rubies, and emeralds. So he didn't just grift a fucking plane, a sky palace. He grifted this too. And it's a set. It ain't just a necklace. There's like a ring and some other shit that goes with it. Look at that fucking thing. I bet you could get a pretty penny for that at a pawn shop, couldn't you, son? Pay your rent for like 8 months and shit. Donnie got that. And he got a $400 million plane. Nothing inappropriate, right? Obama was a crook. Biden was a crook. But this motherfucker right here ain't a crook, right? I guess you wanted to be grifted. I don't know. Yeah, Trump was awarded the prestigious Order of Zayed, the UAE's highest civilian honor. Did they give everyone the fucking gold necklace worth $80,000? I doubt it. I highly doubt it. Donnie's special. I heard the jewelry set is worth $40,000 to $80,000. I bet it's worth even more. Donnie always on the grift. Do you hear me? I want to make this point. Every breath he takes, from the time he snorts his first line of Adderall when he wakes up, till the time he passes out, crashes out after the Adderall wears off, 19 hours later. Every thought, every breath, every atom of his body is focused on the 1,000 grifts he's got going. That's all this motherfucker is doing. Verizon axing DEI programs as it seeks FCC approval for a $9 billion deal. So here's another company caving to the Reich's wishes. We're not going to do DEI anymore. We promise, Donnie. Please don't hurt us. What does that even mean, anyway? If they hire a black guy next week, is that DEI? They don't get the deal. Donnie arrests them all. How does it work? How do you prove you don't use DEI anymore? Who enforces that? If you hire too many blacks that week, do you go on a list? How does this work? Really, what it's about, here's what it's really about. It's about the pledge. That's all Donnie's looking for. The pledge in writing in the newspaper. Look, Verizon has bowed to me. They're doing what I want them to do. This regime has been all about pledges of loyalty, pledges like this. Tribute, almost worship. And we'll get there too. That's where it's going as well. It's not just a grift. There's a spiritual aspect. There's a God complex aspect. There's a revelation aspect. Look at these millionaires, oligarchs, billionaires, everyone bowing to this thing. Have you ever seen anything like it? No, you have not. Why? Because you are now in a different era of time called the apocalypse. That's why. Nothing's going to be the same as it ever was. And it's never going back to that again, I'm sorry to say. So Verizon bends the knee and shows pays Donnie his respect or goes along with the program. Sad to see so many companies follow in their footsteps or blaze the trail for them. Target got rid of their DEI and marketing towards minorities and stuff, a little bit of it in certain ways, and their stock's horrible. People are not shopping there. It just utterly fucked their business. So I'd be careful, Verizon. Luckily for them, they're a cell phone business and they're the largest network, so people are kind of stuck. This is another amazing thing. Again, this is how I know you people believe in nothing and Donnie believes in nothing. Shaking hands with a wanted terrorist. Did you know the president of Syria is a terrorist who is on a list in the United States for $10 million? The guy Donnie was shaking hands with the other day. The guy that said he's going to have a resort in his country for Donnie. Yes, there was a literal wanted poster for this man, Mohammed al-Jawlani. Now he's the leader of Syria, whose Donnie is making deals with. A literal terrorist. Wow. Again, that's how I know you people don't believe in anything. And I looked up his background. Yeah, literal terrorist. $10 million they would have awarded you back a few years ago if you had had some info on how to get him. Now he's promising, making deals about resorts in his country with Donnie. I can't believe this too. Walmart. The CEO announced the prices are going to go up soon, literally because of the tariffs. That's what they say. Here's Donnie. Here's the president of the United States. He's trying to grift here. You can't out his grift like that. Walmart should stop, that's in caps, trying to blame tariffs as the reason for raising prices throughout the chain. Walmart made billions of dollars last year, that's in caps. Far more than expected. Between Walmart and China, they should, as is said, eat the tariffs, that's in caps and quotes. Again, why the fucking quotes? And not charge valued customers anything, that's in caps. I'll be watching and so will your customers. Again, more threats, intimidation at the end. And everybody knows what that means at the end. You people talk about Marxism. You people talk about socialism. You people talk about communism. You have no idea what the words mean. You want to see Marxism? That's it. Communism? That's it. Telling a business, you better eat the tariffs. I'm trying to grift here. You better not raise prices. I control your prices. I'm the government. I'm Caesar. I'm a Marxist. I'm a communist. And again, communism, the way it's described by humans, is not commune-style living. That's something else. I'm in favor of commune-style living. I'm not in favor of threatening businesses like this. That you better let me do my tariff grift and you better keep your mouth shut and you better keep your prices the fucking same. That's Marxism. That's communism. And then the intimidation and the threat that comes at the end. I'm watching and so are your customers. Well, the customers of Walmart should be watching Donnie shitbags because he's the one on the grift. Walmart's just trying to sell products. That's all they doing. Can you imagine? Again, let's throw it out there at you because it's the only way you'll come to reality. What if Obama said this? What would you call it? You already did call him a Marxist and a communist because you don't even know what the fucking words mean. You just parrot them like a parrot because you heard some right-wing congressman, president, whatever say it. You don't know what the fuck those words mean. You have no idea. This is Marxism. This is communism. Forcing businesses to pay you tribute of $1 million apiece. That's Marxism. That's communism. What it really is fascism, honestly. Again, like I've always said. Whatever I say goes. That's where this is going. Donnie's getting more and more bold with it. And it shows how important this grift is to him. Why? Because his hand goes right in the treasury. That's why. Impeachment just for this. And you know who should be screaming for it the loudest? You rubes on the right. Because, again, you've been yelling Marxism and communism for a long time at the wrong fucking people because you don't know what the words mean. This is what it looks like, son, what you're seeing right here. Getting rid of due process, all that kind of shit. Communism, Marxism, fascism. Unbelievable. Telling Walmart to eat the tariffs because Donnie on the grift. In public, he says this. My God, what have you people done? This is, again, what I tried to warn you about before. Do you want a country where with a fascist leader who just takes whatever business, whatever money he wants? Vlad Putin took $100 million from Google. Just took it out of their bank account in Russia. Google had to leave the country and shut down their business in the country. All their money they had for their Russian operation, taken right out the bank. You know why Vlad took it? For his propaganda machine. He said it. He told them. What I find ironic about that is Vlad has been paying Google millions to get these divisive American political ads for the past, God knows, 20 years, 10 years, 15 years. So they've been paying Google to be their propagandist distributor via ad money and allowing their paid shills for Russia platforms and promotion and commercials and all that. You still see Tim Pool, the abject shill for Russia, paid by Russia, being promoted today. So as Vlad sat back, paid them millions of dollars over years to dispense his propaganda, and they did it willingly, as they shut people like me down over and over again. I guess I should have taken Russian money. That way I could have stayed up, right? So Vlad uses these idiots for 20 years, allows them to ruin their own country where their business is based. It's over. Then he turns around and in his country says, thanks for dispensing my propaganda. I'm going to take your 100 million now and dispense some more on my own via RT, etc. And you'll leave my shit up on your platforms too, if you know what's good for you. And you won't cry too much about me taking that 100 million. You wouldn't want some, a few executives or some high-level people to fall out of windows, would you? That's Vlad Putin. And they all know it. That's why they barely mention it. I beg people, do you want that kind of country where people tell you how to run your business? To this degree, eat the tariffs. That's fascism. That's dictatorship. Vlad already gave Google a taste of what dictatorship is. Now Donnie's going to give everybody a taste. Mr. Sundar, head of Google, has, paid tribute $1 million. I'm sure he'll pay more. They all will, don't worry. I told them that before the election as well. The targets will be you who have money. The target of the Reich, the mob, Satan, all of it. This is DHS official Tricia McLaughlin. Keeps insisting that members of Congress and the Newark mayor assaulted and body slammed ICE officers, even as Blackwell plays her video demonstrating that they in fact did not. So she's on CNN. The commentator Blackwell is playing a tape for her, showing her as she's lying her fucking face off. Yeah, no one body slammed any ICE aide. The mayor didn't body slam anybody. I'm showing you the tape right now. Does that make Miss McLaughlin back down? Absolutely not. I never heard her name before tonight. And that other thing I read you, the show about immigrants competing for the right to be here. The Hunger Games. Miss McLaughlin's all about it, obviously. To the point, she'll make up a lie about someone body slammed an ICE agent. And I need to say this, okay? There's a reason people like Miss McLaughlin and the Reich and the right wing in this country have to make up stories like this. Complete fabrications. Because their agenda is of Satan. Their daddy is Satan. Who is Satan? The father of lies. That's why they have to tell these lies. They are of Satan. That's simple. Very simple concept. Totally true as well. I don't care if they wear crosses and go to church on Sunday. Fucking meaningless. I don't care that they say they're pro-life. Fucking meaningless. That's why she has to say that the mayor of Newark body slammed an ICE agent. So you rubes will walk away and parrot that shit. She knows that. So what's Miss McLaughlin? That's Tricia McLaughlin. She appears to be a very loyal sycophant, willing to say and do anything, like Mr. Martin, Miss Bondi, Levitt, etc. The loyalist of loyalists. That's what Miss McLaughlin's looking like. Unbelievable. But there's only one reason a human has to tell lies like this, because they are of the devil. And they're doing their father's work, the father of lies. If they had a platform, if they had something worth selling, son, they'd be selling it. They wouldn't be lying. But you'll repeat the lies, because all that matters to you is that your team comes out looking golden. I know. That's why you lost your country, son. Enjoy. Oh, big telephone call between Vlad and Donnie. I'm sure it'll solve the whole thing. I'm sure there'll be peace on earth after Vlad and Donnie have the big phone call. You ready? Oh, this is all in caps, by the way. The entire post is in caps. Now, he ain't a psycho at all. I will be speaking by telephone to President Putin of Russia on Monday, 10 a.m. The subjects of the call will be stopping the bloodbath, that's in quotes. Again, why? I don't know. That is killing on average more than 5,000 Russian and Ukrainian soldiers a week and trade. I will then be speaking to Zelensky of Ukraine, then with Zelensky, various members of NATO. Hopefully it will be a productive day. A ceasefire will take place. And this very violent war, a war that should have never happened, will end. Really, Donnie? Because Donnie said he would end it on day one. Remember, we're on day, what, 101? And he can't even get him to the table. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be world peace after this. Phone call, in quotes. At least 23 dead after tornadoes and storms tear through 3 states. In Missouri and Kentucky alone, tornadoes killed at least 21 people. Dozens more were injured. So we've got multiple states in the kind of middle of the country had horrible tornadoes, hail, sandstorm, every apocalyptic fucking nightmare you can think of. Here's the question. My first thought when I saw this, a lot of these counties, places will need federal aid. Otherwise, they won't be able to rebuild or do anything because these states don't have the money. What's Donnie going to do when they come asking the federal government? Missouri, Illinois, Kentucky. Because remember, just recently, Sarah Sanders of Arkansas asked for aid money for her state, for disaster aid. Donnie told her, fuck off. The governor of Kentucky called shortly after that, a few days. He needed aid for some disaster relief in his state. Donnie told him to fuck off. Now we've got Missouri, Kentucky, and Illinois. I assume they're going to call the federal government and say, hey, can we get some help with this disaster area, something? Is the right going to tell them to fuck off? Probably. If I had to bet money, I'd say yes. They did it to Sarah Sanders and the Arkansasans. They did it to Kentucky. Those are red states too, you know that, son, right? Shows how much he cares about you down there. Really, real big thank you for your vote, huh? But hey, we all tried to warn you. We all tried to warn you for 10 years. You knew better. Trump again in the interview. I have a great relationship with Putin. We'll likely make a deal. I'm tired of endless meetings. You know what that means? I want the peace prize. Mommy, I'm tired of waiting for it. The black guy got it. I want it. Steve Witkoff did an incredible job, but I'm the only one who can handle this. Really? Because you haven't handled it so far, son. Putin's tired, looks bad, wants to seem strong. If his tanks didn't get stuck, he'd be in Kiev. He's talking getting a little uppity with his master right there. Putin's tired, looks bad. Is he getting uppity? What does that tell you? He's pissed. Why? Because Netanyahu and Putin will not help him get the peace prize. I told you day one, he wants to be the man of peace. I didn't understand why at the time. I just knew it was part of the story in Revelation. I had forgotten that in term one, Donnie was putting fake stories out, right-wing podcasters. People were like putting his name on a list. People were contacting the fucking Nobel people, trying to get Donnie that peace prize. And I said, that's why Donnie all of a sudden is sending planes home, getting frustrated with his master Vlad, getting frustrated with Bibi. He wants the Nobel Peace Prize. He wants to be Pope. He wants to be God. He wants to be Emperor. All those things. I am not exaggerating or joking. Okay, now we're at our little Bible lesson. And we'll end with this for our weekend coverage. And the piece I want to focus on, someone asked for this, that's why I'm doing it. And some arguments have been made lately that I've seen that bother me. And we're going to focus on this piece right here, and then I'll give you the context of it. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. That's the King James, Revelation 13:8. What is it saying? At first, when you start reading it, it appears that everyone on earth will worship and adore the Antichrist. I keep seeing people make this argument. These are novices in Scripture that have heard things or read it once that make these types of arguments. No, the Antichrist is supposed to be loved by everybody. Well, that doesn't make sense because people die at the hand of the Antichrist in the story. People are beheaded, they die, the people that don't worship the beast. So that puts the kibosh on. The whole world loves him. If the whole world doesn't love him, it can't be him. No, it's him. And most of the world hates him. But we can still be in wonder or wonder at something we hate. So as you start reading the beginning of this passage, you think, oh, wow, the whole world's going to love this person. No. Whose names are not written in the book of life, the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. The names that are not written. There are names that are written in the book of life. They will not worship the Antichrist. They will not take the mark. They may die for it. My point is, no, the whole world does not love the Antichrist in the story. Only those whose names have been blotted out of the book of life will love the Antichrist and take his mark. So there goes the argument that everyone loves the Anticristo. And therefore it can't be Donnie because everyone has to nope. Just those who are blotted out love the Antichrist. That's it. Everybody else does. Now the context, the beginning of the chapter. I read you verse 8 of a chapter. The chapter is not long. It's not some long, huge piece of writing. And here's how it begins. And I'll explain it quickly and go through it quickly. And I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads, 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. Before I continue, what does this monster represent? Only through years of study do I know this, by the way. So I'm explaining it to you. This monster represents world kingdoms that have taken place throughout the ages. We are the final world kingdom. They explain this in the story at a different part. That, 3 of the kingdoms came, 1 is, and 1 is to come. Something like that. So the Revelator John that received this vision, this story from Christ in a vision, in a dream, vision, whatever you want to call it. He was alive during a certain empire. That's why Jesus said, one empire is currently, probably Rome. The reason why this vision came then is because the final kingdom would be New Rome. That's us. I've been saying it for decades. In political commentary, we are Rome. So during John's time, Rome was in charge. That's that empire that is. And then 1 is to come. That's us. New Rome, based on old Rome. Nazism was based on Rome, by the way. The formations, the standards, a lot of it. Notice Leon has this Pepe Caesar picture. That's Roman. They have an affection for that Roman thing. Funny, they're Satanists. They're the Antichrist, the false prophet, all these horrible, evil people. And they love Rome. It's interesting. So again, the beast with the horns and the different heads, that represents world kingdoms, and that's explained in the story. I'm explaining it to you. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth the mouth of a lion, and the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. We don't need to go through what each animal means and how it applies and all that. The main point is the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. Donnie seems untouchable, doesn't he? For all this time. He's got the most powerful seat in the world, was given to him, and he has great authority over everything. He's telling other countries what to do. He's telling companies what to do. According to him, he runs the world. He said it in the Atlantic magazine. They did the story. Said he wanted to be Pope. Wants the Nobel. I keep saying the dragon is his daddy. That's why I say that. In other words, I've also been telling you, Donnie has the blessing. He's not going down right now. He was never going down until the man comes around. That's why he seemed untouchable. Who can make war with the beast? Untouchable. So the dragon gave him his seat, his power, and authority. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. Again, wondering after someone doesn't mean you love them or adore them. It means they're the topic of conversation for 10 years like Donald Trump has been. That's supernatural. That's not normal. A head wound that healed. And remember, I told you all the miracles that these people perform, Beast 1 and Beast 2, will be false miracles based on modern technology, because they don't have the power to do miracles, son. Only the real Trinity has that power. We'll see that in the end. So the whole world wondered after the beast after he had the head wound that miraculously healed. And they worshiped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. And they worshiped the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? An assassin's bullet can't kill him. We can't get him locked up for his various crimes. No one can come against him militarily and win. Who's able to make war with the beast? It seems like there's no one. There is no one. That's why the man's got to do it. And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue for 42 months. So now you know how long it lasts, 42 months. The problem is figuring out the beginning point. That's why I said 3.5 years. That's what I'm basing it on. A pastor I respect named Brother James Key thinks he has to form his actual world government first before the countdown begins. I disagree with that, even though I respect his wisdom much more than mine. I think he's missing a few things, though. I could be wrong. He could be right. He could be wrong. I could be right. Neither of us could be right. Who knows? I base my 3.5 year theory on this. 42 months, blasphemies. What does Donnie do every day? Spout blasphemies. Every fucking day. So my personal countdown was when he won the presidency, and it started counting down from that point, 3.5 years. That's what I base it on. Again, I could be wrong. I'm not God here. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle and them that dwell in heaven. Donnie's done that in a bunch of different ways already. Maybe he'll do it in a worse way. I don't know. Again, one of the first acts he did was raise the flag back up for Jimmy Carter against observance of Jimmy Carter's death, because Donnie didn't want it to mess up his inauguration day. That's Donnie's day. That could be a blasphemy against God, those in heaven, those that have died. And there's many other things. Remember, he got in a fight with a female priest as well. Talk smack on her. This could be anything, any number of things with Donnie. Blaspheming God, blaspheming where God lives, and blaspheming those in heaven. That's the three things. He's already done that, in my opinion, but maybe the actual event here described hasn't happened. I don't know. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them, and power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. Yes, the President of the United States, in my opinion, does have power over all tongues and nations. Are you kidding me? That's why I said before the election, once Donnie has the keys, it's over. Once they hand the Antichrist the keys to the most powerful military on earth, there's never been nothing like it since the beginning of mankind. It's over. So as far as I'm concerned, the President of the United States already does run the world. He's the most powerful man in the world, has the most powerful weapon at his disposal, can take out any country. So I'm not of the class, I guess, that he needs 8 years to form his world government and all that and then begin the countdown. No, I'm not feeling that personally. I feel an urgency, actually. That's what I feel. I can't believe we're already at the point we're talking about removing Gazans, building resorts, death camps in El Salvador, ignoring Supreme Court rulings. We're already there. We're, 3-4 months in? My God, that's fast. I can't imagine 10 years of this. I don't think humanity would survive it. I could be wrong. So he makes war with the saints and overcomes them, and power is given to him over all kindreds, tongues, and nations. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life. So again, not the whole world, just those people that are evil. I'm sorry. That's the delineation on who's good and who's evil. Are you worshiping the Antichrist? Or are you not? This is the test you're in right now. Be sure you don't fail it. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and faith of the saints. That being in the middle of the stories is very weird to me. I've talked about this before. Most Bibles translate it as he that's destined for captivity, into captivity he goes. I don't agree with that. I think this is right. And I had a Catholic Bible. Even though I'm not Catholic, I got it from my grandmother who died. I took it when she died. In my Bible, it says, he who is for captivity. Now, you can look at that as, by for captivity, you're destined for captivity. Or you could look at it as, he who is in favor of captivity. That's how I take it. I just feel that. And it sounded like that from my Catholic Bible, and it sounds like that from this King James here. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. Again, this weird statement in the middle of the story. Very strange. And again, I look at it personally as he who is for captivity, into captivity he goes. And the reason I'm talking about that is because of this whole issue about how there's people laughing about sending men to death camps where they never leave, have no contact with the outside world. You better have committed a pretty harsh crime for you to be in that situation. Otherwise, I'm not okay with it. And I mean, it's got to be the harshest of crimes. For you to never to speak to the outside world again, and you're in a prison for the rest of your life, you never leave, no chance. You better have murdered like 40 people or something. Otherwise, I can't be in favor of it. I'm sorry. You better be the Menendez brothers or something, or I'm not in favor of it. So that's why I'm believing even more now that I'm watching it play out. That what this is trying to say is, if you're down with locking people up forever, well, why shouldn't I judge you by the same standard? I'm playing God for a moment. If you're okay with locking innocent men up forever, you laugh about it, you think it's funny, you think it's progress, you want to put your name on it, your money into it, you're promoting it, why shouldn't God judge you by the same standard, son? That's what I think that piece of scripture means. The killing with the sword part, I don't quite understand why that's there either. But we've heard this saying before, he who lives by the sword dies by the sword. I don't know if it's always true. That would take a lot of research, wouldn't it? And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. And he exerciseth all of the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. They describe the first beast several times as the one whose wound was healed, the wound of the sword that was healed, etc. What does that tell you? That means it's important. It's integral into identifying this individual. So this is the second beast we're talking about. He exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them that dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. I watched Leon go forth with all the authority of the president. In fact, that's what a lot of you were complaining about. Leon was making decisions, firing everyone in government. Leon got in fights with department heads because he was running their departments without their permission, making decisions without their permission. Why? Because he has the full authority of Beast One. That's why. That's one of the reasons I think it's Leon. Plus, Leon's just like Donnie. They're both shameless grifter, rich kids who always want more and don't care about anyone but themselves. They have no problem lying about the smallest things, cheating at video games, cheating at golf. I mean, there's just nothing redeeming, son. And Leon was going for it and is still going for it with the full authority of Donnie. Leon's at all these meetings with the UAE, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, every single one right next to Donnie. They are a package deal, just like this story describes. Now, Brother James Key, I want to give you at least one person or one other person's interpretation. Brother James Key, one of two preachers I even respect in this world, thinks that the false prophet must be a religious figure, but I look at it this way. There's many ways to worship things. There's many ways to, preach. Preaching doesn't have to be religious. A prophet doesn't have to be religious. A prophet is a representative of something else, preaching the word of that thing. So what does Leon own? Well, he owns the biggest text website on fucking earth. When he puts a message out, the whole world sees it in 5 seconds. He's been putting a lot of Reich propaganda out for a long time, just when he decided to go MAGA. In my opinion, that's a form of preaching. He's preaching Reich doctrine every 5 seconds. He makes Reich doctrine. So does Donnie. So it's as if he goes forth with the full authority of Beast One, which is Donnie. And he goes forth as a prophet for the movement and Donnie. And preaches every day. Preaching don't have to be about Jesus, son. There's a lot of different messages to preach in this world. If you work for a company in advertising or whatever, you preach in their gospel. Whoever you represent. To every human you meet. Because it makes you money. Do you understand that concept? There's many forms of preaching or being a prophet for something or someone. There's another qualification in here. Remember Hitler again, co-chancellor. That's what we got with Leon. Same thing. Co-ruler. Leon said, I can't be president officially when Netanyahu told him he couldn't be president. Well, not officially. We've got it. I told you before the election. Now we have it. Just because you ain't seeing his face every day, don't mean he isn't going forth with full authority, and he isn't at every meeting Donnie's at or involved in every conversation. Leon's still running things. Don't ever think he isn't. Donnie's also running things. But Leon is the unelected. Leon is the prophet. Brother James Key thinks it's going to be this pope or a religious figure. I'm not feeling that. And there's another reason why. We're going to get to it in a second. I'm almost done here. And he had power to give life into the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. I skipped a part. And he deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means. I skipped another part. Sorry. He exercises all the power of the first beast. Now let me go to the next part. And he causes everyone to worship the first beast. But that's not everyone on the planet. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on earth in the sight of men. Who can do that? And how can that be done? What religious leader can make fire rain from the heavens? None. None. But Leon can, and Leon has. In the first couple months of Donnie's presidency, Leon blew up a couple rockets. Did you see the pictures of that? I showed you the pictures. What does it look like? Fire raining from heaven in the sight of men. The entire world, actually. Thanks to TV, thanks to telescopes, thanks to cell phones, thanks to it all. So that's another reason I think it's Leon. And he doeth great wonders so that he maketh fire come down from heaven and on earth in the sight of men. He's done that already. He's done it many times. Who else can do that? There's no religious leaders that can do that. And again, all the miracles will be false. This is a false trinity. Dragon, beast, and beast too. They're not the real trinity. They can't do miracles. They can pull, bullshit in front of you. False miracles using modern technology. That's what the fire raining from heaven was. That's one of the reasons I think it's Leon. Also, Leon has a means to preach any message, the largest means on the planet, called Twitter. And he owns it. Thanks to the Saudis, the Russians, Puff Daddy, and a bunch of other people. So he has the ability to preach the message of the Reich or of Donnie. He has the ability to help Donnie make his image, him and Sam Altman. He has the ability to preach that we should worship the image and worship the first beast. And not only does he have the ability, he already has made fire rain from the heavens in sight of men many times. And he's a Nazi salute guy. And he's co-chancellor. And, in the story here, they seem like a package deal. They're like the same person almost. Just like reality. Leon and Donnie. Leon, the co-chancellor, the Nazi salute guy. And deceiveth them and dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on earth that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live. Again, they describe beast one as the one who had the miracle of surviving the wound of the sword, the head wound. And then you see Donnie making his whole reign about the head wound. Pictures on the wall. The crypto coin has fight. He's got statues. I mean, just everything you can think of is about that moment, the head wound that healed. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So, again, does the false prophet or Leon, does he have the power to give life to an image? Yeah. Grok is made in his image. He's given life to an image called Grok already. It's the only image ever in the history of mankind that can go forth and speak on its own as if it were alive. An image that's alive. We are made in God's image, allegedly. We are an image that is alive, based on something else. AI is an image that is alive, based on someone else. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, and that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as not would worship the image of the beast should be killed. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. Depending on which translation you read, some say on their foreheads, on their hands, some say in. I have a feeling it might be a combination of both. One in your hand, one on your forehead. Maybe like, I don't know, a MAGA hat or something. I don't know. I'm just guessing. Just guessing. And that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Again, I told you, and that's the end. I told you what the fight on Donnie coin represents. And I figured that out one night. I'm like, just let me look at the Donnie coin and see if I can find 666 on it. I put it off for a while. I'm like, I don't want to find it. I don't want to know. I don't want to be certain of this. Let me just, ponder it. And then one night I'll blasé look at it, and I look at it. There's no numbers. There's fight. What letter does F represent in the alphabet? So I counted off on my fingers because I don't know what number F is in the alphabet. Why would I know that? Why would I care? So I start counting up A, B, C, D, E. Oh shit, 6. The first letter. I'm like, no, it can't be that simple. It can't be that simple, that obvious. And then the letter F is the first letter on each word, and it's repeated 3 fucking times. F, F, F. Fight. No math required, no equations, no addition or subtraction. 666. They can't write 666 on it, son. That'd be a bit obvious, wouldn't it? But they have to do it in your face, and they have to let you know they're doing it in some way. But 666 is a little taboo. Then when you look at the word fight, it's got the G, because there's a G in the word fight. If you just look at that to the eye, that looks like 666. I'm thinking it's the F, though, but either one or both. So it says the number of his name, and then the next verse talks about how the number is 666. We all know this. I just told you how the 666 is on the coin. I've told you many times. I didn't want it to be on the coin. I put it off. I postponed it. I wasn't in a rush to go look at that and figure it out. But then I did. And again, let me put the caveat. I hope I'm wrong about every fucking thing I'm saying, but every day I become more and more convinced. Especially when I looked at that coin and I'm like, fight. What's F? Oh, F is 6. And then it's written 3 times. Kind of sounds like a slick way to put 666 on there, doesn't it? Does to me. So you won't be able to participate in society unless you have the mark and use the proper currency and worship the image. Once you take the mark, you're irredeemable. There's no chance for you. So you can't take the mark. It may cost you your life. I don't know how it's going to play out. Sounds like some people are going to die over it. But what it'll cost you if you take it will be much more. So don't take it. Even though it means you can't participate in society. My point is, starving to death will be a better option for you. I know it sounds crazy, right? Because all we know is this world and eating and shitting and sleeping and fucking and whatever we do every day. That's all we know. So we must continue, no matter what comes in, no matter what demon asks us to worship him. or what currency they want us to use, or what image they want us to worship. We must continue, right? No. No. We mustn't. Who says we have to? The Reich? Again, I don't know how it's going to play out or how it's going to play out. Maybe there will be a way for people to eat. I don't know. All I know is you won't be allowed to participate in society. You'll probably be on the run. And you probably won't last very long. Because this ain't a movie. And they got ways of finding people that, they couldn't imagine in any movie. But God is crafty. And maybe he has a surprise how some people get fed. Even though they can't participate. I don't know. I'm not God. All I know is no matter what they say you can't do, you best not take the mark. And I am personally convinced by what I'm seeing day after day. I didn't want to be, again, people, I told you. I would have rather have been crazy. And none of this is true. And it was just a story. And I was just delusional. Then the assassination day came. And it convinced me. And I see more and more of the story coming true. The exact story. And I don't have to take huge leaps and bounds to connect it the way so many people over the years have. And that doesn't necessarily make them bad people or liars or whatever. It's they were working with the information they had. Now, some were purely right-wing bias and had no basis in reality. But some people were genuinely trying to figure this out. In other words, I don't have to make huge leaps and bounds. Like you've seen in so many videos and presentations and lectures about this subject. The Bible, the Antichrist, the apocalypse. They didn't have all the information yet. Some of the words hadn't even been invented, like MAGA. And so many right-wingers that got into this because Christianity and religion kind of goes hand in hand with being right-wing in this world, especially in America, unfortunately. But not all of us are. It's a shame it got associated with the wrong people. Because it became political as well, the interpretations. It was never political for me. I looked at it as it could be anyone, a Democrat, a Republican, anybody. You looked at it as it's got to be a liberal. That was the flaw in your thinking. That's why you missed it. Or you just see something you like and you're of Satan. Some of you are, I'm sorry. You just are. They can't trick you into it again. I've said this for years. You're going to know what you're doing at the time you do it. And there'll probably be some denunciation or renunciation of what you believe in favor of what they want you to believe. Worship of Donnie, worship of whatever. You're going to know what you're doing. No one's going to be able to say I got tricked into it. That's the problem with this era. No one can say that anymore. We've seen all the abominations, rapes, lies, scams, grifts, attempted overthrows, thefts. We've seen it all. And some of you said, I want my name on that 3 times. 2016, 2020, and 2024. Others put your name on it once, you turned away. Some of us never put our names on it. So again, I guess my message is, 1, The whole world doesn't have to love the Antichrist. That's not in the story. That's a flawed interpretation. 2, Donnie's going to want to give you a gift. And the false prophet, if it's not Leon, I think it is, because Leon does have the ability to make an AI. He already did. An image that goes forth, lives, breathes, speaks, is omnipresent. So Leon fits the description perfectly, in my opinion, and he's already made fire rain from the heavens. And Beast 1 has already survived his head wound. So what's left now? Well, now they got to make an image. Altman, Leon, infrastructure. And eventually they're going to ask you to worship it. And worship Donnie. I'm not joking. Worship Donnie as God, and by proxy you will be worshiping Satan as God. That's the point of this exercise. From breath 1 of the first human being, once they were thrown out of wherever, Eden, whatever the fuck you want to call it. The goal was all the bullshit that's happened throughout history, all the evil, the atrocities, all the empires. The goal was to worship a thing called Satan. That's the intention behind it all, and marring the creation of God, of course. But the real goal, all the way up to this end point that we're living in right now, is to worship Donnie, and by proxy, you're worshiping Satan. Because Satan really can't come down here and take a body. I guess that's not how it works. Otherwise, he'd be the president and not the beast, his demon. So all roads from the beginning of time, once man fell, all roads have led to an imp called Satan wanting to be worshipped. They're going to try and get you to worship Donnie in this endpoint, and therefore you're worshiping Satan. That's simple. I know it sounds crazy, right? But what I'm seeing every day, I wish I was crazy. I wish I was ignorant. Because ignorance is bliss, not knowing. I was hoping I was crazy about the last thing I used to talk about that happened tonight, 7, 8 years ago. But every day I kept seeing more evidence, more reasons. I kept hoping to see the thing that would tell me that I was wrong, and in this situation as well, I kept hoping I was wrong. I really thought I was wrong once Donnie lost the election, because I didn't know there was going to be a pause in the tribulation. I'm not God. I thought it was going to be a straight 7 years. No. There was a pause. So I'm like, okay, maybe I look like a little fool here. I'll give it a little time, and then I'll admit to my audience that I was wrong. And then he tried to overthrow the government. The only president ever to do that I know of. Outright, in our face. And there's one thing I always knew about the Antichrist, as I pondered this for decades. Once the Antichrist came into power, he would never give up power willingly. Ever. It's been what the Antichrist wanted since the beginning of time. Or that spirit, that demon that comes from the dragon. It's what they wanted since the beginning of fucking time. So there's no way the devil himself would give up absolute power. That's why Donnie tried to overthrow the government. So when he did the government thing and he stole the 3,000 classified documents, then I said, oh, shit. Maybe you are right, Nick. Let's see if he gets back in power, just like Hitler, Saddam Hussein, Napoleon. Then you'll know he's an antichrist, at least, if not the. What happens? The Rubes put him back in power 4 years later. The guy that tried to overthrow the government, the Antichrist, right after a head wound happens, an assassination attempt by a right-winger who has no friends, who looks socially awkward, who looks like he never had a girlfriend in his life. When I saw that, and I saw the fist pump, and I saw how animated the Antichrist was, that's when I fully realized. I started shaking. That's when I fully realized. Unfortunately, Nick, as much as you'd love to be crazy, as much as you'd love for everyone to be able to say you were wrong, as much as you'd love to be wrong, because you know what it means if you're right. Unfortunately, you're right, son. That was not a good moment for me. I was hoping I was wrong. I was waiting for that moment I could feel comfortable enough to come on camera and say, you know what, folks? I was wrong. My hopes got dashed on Assassination Day. And now, just like the story says, the whole reign revolves around that moment. That's why they describe the Antichrist 8, 9 times as the person who had the head wound that healed. Then he gets back in power, just like Saddam Hussein, just like Hitler, just like Napoleon. The person that tried to overthrow the government got back in power. Why does this keep happening? Why do so many stupid humans allow this to happen? Then I was really convinced. Then when I watched Mr. Sundar and Zuckerberg and Gates and just every single oligarch on the planet damn near lay millions of dollars at Donnie's feet. Have you ever seen them do that for another president? Absolutely fucking not. Tribute, Caesar-like. You get talk of I run the world, talk of I want to be Pope. We're going to own Gaza. He said that out loud. It's going to be a freedom zone. He's going to build a Donnie resort. Him and Jared Kushner. Okay, everything I'm seeing, people, I'm sorry, from the day of the assassination just convinced me further and further and further and further. I wanted to be wrong so badly. But I'm not. That's why I'm here every night, tired, worn the fuck out, not paying my bills, blah, 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 because I'm talking to you and I got to sleep till 12 p.m. or 11 p.m. or 11 a.m., excuse me. Because that's how important this is. That's why I'm losing money, all kind of bullshit for this. Your soul and your life is on the line. It's the most important moment in all of our lives. It's the most important moment of all of history, except for maybe the birth of Jesus Christ and his resurrection. It's the moment all the bad guys, all the demons been waiting for. I'm certain of it. I don't want to be, but I am. So again, don't take the mark. Don't take the mark. Don't take the gift he's going to want to give you. Stay true to the real God, and you'll be okay in the end, although you may suffer in the short term. And no, when you hear arguments that, oh, the whole world has to love the Antichrist. Nope. That would mean the whole world is evil and of Satan's son. That means the whole world would be irredeemable. All would be thrown in the lake of fire. That's not how the story goes. Only some are thrown in. Only some worship. Those who are not written in the book of life. Because of their actions. Nothing else. And because of who they're going to worship and who they have worshiped. Anyway, until the next episode, have a wonderful evening.